All right, welcome to your All American News. This is Gerald McKenzie with the Historical Wild Card Podcast, and I bring to you the best news ever reported in the history of news, point blank, period. This news is so good, I don't care if your girlfriend listens to the news or not. You play this for her, you're going to be getting it in tonight, baby. I promise. This news is so good, it makes the most unpolitical, action-driven, slutty females wet. That's how good this news is. So, the FBI has raided Trump's house. What is going on here, guys? Well, let me tell you. First off, you got to understand Trump's relationship with the FBI. Trump came from New York City. He was a contractor in New York City. Where in New York City, if you want to be a contractor, if you want to make buildings, you are going to be pressed by the mob. So what did Trump do to avoid being pressed by the mob? Well, he didn't completely avoid it. He paid his fees to the mob, whether that was through unions or whatnot. But what he did do to avoid being directly pressed by the mob was he had bodyguards. And his bodyguards were, you guessed it, ex-FBI or current FBI. Now, by having the ex-FBI agents as bodyguards, the mob was like, fuck that, we're staying away from this man. He's just too close to the FBI. Now, don't get me wrong, he ain't no snitch, but he was real close with the FBI, so he really wasn't worth fucking with. They got their money from him by either like raising union fees, etc., etc. But as far as directly pressing him for cash and shit, they said fuck that. He's got fucking ex-FBI all around him. Some of them probably still current. All of them still have connections within the bureau. So they were like, nah, we ain't fucking with him. So that's before he was even president. He already had a good thing going with the feds. Now, when President Trump became president, even while he was running for president, he was all about law and order, and he wasn't just saying that shit. He meant it. He gave the police agencies in America a nice morale boost as long as a nice cash boost, correct? Now, especially the fucking FBI. When he became president, he also replaced plenty of the members in the FBI, especially right at the fucking top. He replaced a lot of the top members on the top of the FBI, making sure that the FBI was a clean organization and did their job. You know what the FBI did once Trump became president? They started busting motherfuckers that deserved to get busted. Child molesters and things of that nature. You can look it up. The bus that came in after Trump became president moved much more towards the bus that I think we all agree on, that people should be locked up. And I don't fuck with the police. I hate the prison industrial complex, and I fucking hate the police, and I believe that 99% of people locked up don't deserve to be locked up. But if you fucking with little kids and shit, motherfucker, take your bitch ass to jail. I'd rather they killed you than took you to jail. But he got the FBI on the right page. They were out there pursuing justice, and he got his people in as the leaders of the FBI. Now, when he lost the election, and lost in parentheses, because we all know he probably won when he based on votes, the Democrats pulled some shit. They got a lot of fraudulent votes in and all that good shit, right? And then, when he fucking was supposed to hand over the presidency to Joe Biden, his supporters fucking stormed the Capitol, blah, blah, blah. They didn't take it over, right? Trump told them to step the fuck down, back up, and he handed it over to Joe Biden. And there was a peaceful transfer of power. Even though at least half the country thought the election was stolen. Trump was a great leader. He told the people that, hey, look, I know you believe like I believe that the election was stolen. We need to make this a peaceful transfer of power. And don't forget, the best is yet to come. He kept saying that the best is yet to come. Now, what the fuck did that mean when he said the best is yet to come? Right? Because he had just handed over the fucking keys to the whole thing to Biden, handed over the power, the most powerful position in the world, arguably, he handed over to Biden and the Democrats, who have a real sick, fucked up agenda. But he handed it over to them because what was the alternative? The alternative was like fucking declare martial law, straight chaos, motherfuckers dying in the streets. It wouldn't have been good, right? So he handed over the power, right? After he handed over the power, some time went by. He kept preaching the best is yet to come. He didn't fucking back out on his statement that the election was stolen. Now, just recently, the FBI raided Trump's house, taking classified documents. Now, you don't hear a whole lot about what was in these classified documents, but what we have heard is that these classified documents included things that had to do with the election, that had to do with voter fraud, etc. Now, before the FBI raided Trump, he was in talks with the FBI. This is being reported on the news. So he was in talks with the FBI, then he was raided, and they took the classified documents. Now, look, Trump fucking handed the keys to Biden. There was a peaceful transfer of power. But he's always said the way to figure this shit out, the way this should be done, is in the court of law to see what really happened. And I believe that's what he's doing by speaking with the FBI and not handing them the documents they've been asking for, but letting the FBI know, hey, look, I got these documents. Y'all probably want them. You know what I'm saying? And speaking with them beforehand, the FBI decided to raid his house and take the documents. Now, this is all planned for. Just people, what's in those documents? I believe what's in the documents is fucking plenty of proof of voter fraud and election fraud. And not just voter fraud and election fraud. I believe there's evidence that it was knowingly committed by high-ranking members of the Democratic Party and the deep state. Now, if that's what's in these documents now are being studied by the FBI, by judges, and by prosecutors. Now, when documents are used to prosecute somebody in court, oftentimes they become declassified and public information. Now, if these are highly classified documents, they may not. And my prediction is if they are not, if they do not become public information, even though they're being used to prosecute somebody, that these documents will be leaked. Either way, they're being studied by the FBI, the judge, and the prosecutor, which is great fucking news. If they're leaked, they'll be studied by the media as well. And if they want to prosecute Trump on things that he did in January 6th and all that shit, they're going to have to prove that he legitimately lost the election. Well, if he has proof in these documents that say he didn't legitimately lose the election, that the election was stolen from them, then that is going to become public information. It is going to be talked about among the FBI, among prosecutors, and among judges. So, what do I think is going to happen? I think what's going to happen is exactly what he wanted to happen. There was the peaceful transfer of power. America didn't fall into chaos. But he is using this system in America, the way it is set up, to fucking so-called fix America, what he's going for. He's using it to fix America. We're going to find out what really happened in the election. We all know there was fraud, but let's bring it to light in a reasonable manner. Let's not bring it to light with violence and a coup. Let's bring it to light in the court system where it should be brought to light. Keep in mind, Trump had these documents. He was in talk with the FBI before he was raided, meaning he knew the raid was coming, that this was all planned. Meanwhile, the Democrats and the anti-Trumpers literally think they got Trump by the balls and backed into a corner, and they're all happy that they're going after Trump. Meanwhile, Trump's chilling, giving rallies still, and in his rallies, he is not rallying now for re-election. What is he rallying now? Just to maintain support, meaning I think some big shit is going to come from this FBI raid. I think it was planned. I think it's 40 chest, and I think what's going to happen is that these documents and this proof is going to be brought to light, and people are going to be held responsible for the voter fraud, giving America a chance to continue to have somewhat fair elections in the future. Anyway, subscribe to my channel. One love. Peace.